Hello to all my wonderful subscribers, students, and disciples. This is your Master GongSun. Welcome to another episode of the Taoism as applied to the news series, where I dissect news articles and news stories and give my own take as well as what the Tao would say. In today's story, Embracing Death to Live Fully and Why Memento Mori Matters in Asian Culture. Now, if you're already interested in Taoism, which I'm sure you are because you are either my subscriber or clicked on my videos, then you would probably be interested in Asian culture too, because it's Asian culture that gave rise to Taoism and other philosophies and religions such as Buddhism and Hinduism. So that's why I picked this piece here. Okay, let's begin. Again, I won't read the whole thing, but just enough to dissect it. In many Asian cultures, death is shrouded in silence and treated as a taboo subject to be avoided rather than confronted. This cultural aversion stems from deeply ingrained beliefs that discussing death invites misfortune or disrupts the natural order of life. Yet this reluctance to engage with mortality often leaves individuals ill prepared to face the inevitable, fostering fear, anxiety, and a sense of unease. The ancient practice of memento mori, remembering death, offers a profound antidote to this cultural stigma, encouraging individuals to embrace the impermanence of life and live with greater intention, authenticity, and gratitude. Of course, this whole saying here is Latin, right? Remember death. I mean, the ancient Romans would have a skeleton sit at one of their banquets while they're feasting and regaling each other with stories and laughing and singing. They would also remind themselves of death, that death will come for us all, and that we have to accept it and prepare for it. Anyway, the roots of this cultural taboo are deeply embedded in traditions and superstitions. In Chinese culture, for instance, death is often seen as the ultimate end, a subject to be avoided to prevent invoking bad luck or disturbing the harmony of fate. This death-denying perspective permeates both personal and professional spheres, leading to heightened psychological distress and reluctance to communicate about death or grief. Yeah, this is true because my own elders, my parents, my mother especially, and her mother, my grandma, this is exactly their attitude towards death. It's very inauspicious and they rarely discuss it. This cultural silence around death is not unique to China. Across Asia, the topic is often met with discomfort, with euphemisms like asleep, gone, or lost used to soften its impact, which I would strongly disagree with. I mean, call it what it is. Call a spade a spade. If you're dead, then you're dead. There's no need to say gone. Or sometimes in Chinese culture, which I don't like, is that they say I'm going back. 回去 means to go back. Sometimes it's very confusing because when I used to be an interpreter, I would ask them, "Wait a minute, do you mean like where are you going back to? Are you going back to China?" And she's like, "No, I mean dead." Right? So that's what I don't actually like. If you're dead, then say you're dead. Don't use euphemisms. It's not only too confusing, you're avoiding the truth. And the truth is always worth confronting, no matter how ugly it is. The Tao agrees with me as well. This is what the Tao says about death, too. But at the same time, there's nothing to fear, because once you have astral projected, like I have, even if you haven't, I mean, if you've even seen or experienced anything supernatural, seen or heard or smelled or anything like that, then you know that life exists after death. Our consciousness survives, whereas our bodies do not. And that makes perfect sense. So it's just a permanent transition to the other planes of existence, which I welcome, frankly, because this plane of existence can be very difficult sometimes. I mean, while we're here, we should make the most of it and do our best, try to show some compassion in the right circumstances, a moderate amount, not too much, and we should do good deeds to benefit others, thereby benefiting our own souls. So if we're here, we might as well. Anyway, let us continue. Yeah, remember death. Yep. Anyway. For many, the idea of contemplating death may seem morbid or unsettling. Yet, as the philosopher Martin Heidegger argued, death is not separate from life, but an integral part of it. By embracing the reality of our finite existence, we gain a deeper understanding of our unique potential and the opportunity to live authentically. This shift in perspective can be profoundly liberating, allowing individuals to break free from societal expectations and fears, and instead focus on living a life aligned with their true desires and values. Yes, this is really well said here. I definitely agree with this. Life and death are the same thing, in essence, right? We come into this world and we leave this world. We're never promised forever in our physical bodies. That was never the deal. All right, what else is there? For Asian cultures, where the stigma surrounding death remains deeply entrenched, the adoption of Memento Mori represents a radical yet a necessary shift. By encouraging open conversations about mortality and fostering a culture of acceptance, societies can begin to dismantle the fear and silence that have long surrounded death. This cultural transformation has the potential to not only alleviate individual suffering, but also strengthen communal bonds as individuals come together to support one another in the face of life's greatest certainty. Again, very well written and well put in there. It's true, life's greatest certainty is death. And this is good, actually. Yeah, I wish we would all be more open about it. The journey toward embracing death is not without its challenges. It requires courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. Yes, that's exactly what it is. And that's exactly what is preventing my mom, my mother, and my grandmother from embracing it, or even, forget embracing it, even to discuss it. I mean, I just had a recent conversation with my mother where she said, I'm planning to go to Macau or somewhere else in mainland China to live. And I said, well, when is that going to happen? She says, when grandma's not here. Because right now she has to take care of my 91-year-old grandmother. Of course, she's used the word when grandma's not here. Wait, when she's not here. I mean, she didn't say when grandma's dead. Right? Again, another euphemism, right? Anyway, I won't read any more. That's about it. Actually, I'm going to read the last paragraph because this is quite interesting here. And very pertinent and profound. The wisdom of Memento Mori is simple yet profound. Death is not something that takes away from life, but something that gives it meaning. It teaches us to live with intention, to release what no longer serves us, and to fully embrace the potential of every moment. In remembering death, we are reminded to live with a sense of urgency and gratitude, because life, in all its beauty and fragility, is a gift that must be treasured. That's really well said. Yeah, and we Taoists would agree with the whole article, but especially this right here, last paragraph right here. If we, I mean, if we don't discuss it from a spiritual perspective, but from a cultural perspective, then it would help us all to be more open about it, especially in Asian culture. But spiritually, there's nothing to fear. I mean, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that there is 1,000,000,000% that life exists after death. Our consciousness exists for sure after the demise of our physical bodies. because I witness supernatural events. I have astral projected. I have seen things. I've heard things. I have evidence of life after death. But for those who haven't, it's the uncertainty, the unknown, the mystery that they're afraid of. And I can understand that part, being fearful of the unknown. But take it from me, for those of you who are scared of death, do not be. You should be more afraid of being born, of having to come back to this world, of being reincarnated as a child in a war zone, for example. I mean, that is not going to be fun. And that's why I definitely do not want to come back. I want to attain transcendence so that I can become an immortal, so that I can help others without having to come back. If I can be a sage or an immortal, a Sen Xian, which is the Taoist equivalent of a saint, of a Christian saint, then I could do a lot of good that way. Alright, what do you guys think about death? Leave your comments below. This has been your Master GongSun. As usual, keep living in alignment with the Tao.